गिरिवरधारी। जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा, श्याम सुंदर श्री राधे। जय कृष्ण बलराम कृष्ण बलराम जय वृंदावन धाम। जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय। जय जय प्रभुपाद श्री श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुम् उन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथामितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां च। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वतीदेवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। I welcome all the devotees for the today's evening Bhagavad-gītā class. I offer my obeisances unto the lotus feet of all the devotees here. Kindly bless me so that we can discuss today's shloka and tatparya by Srila Prabhupada. So we have been discussing chapter 6th of Bhagavad-gītā. As you all know that Bhagavad-gītā is divided into 3 parts. Prabhupada used to say the first part of Bhagavad-gītā, it's called as Karma Yoga. And in the middle, from 7 to 12th, the middle portion is Bhakti Yoga. And the last part is Jnana Yoga. The purpose of Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga is to reach to Bhakti Yoga. So Prabhupada used to say these are the 2 vehicles to reach to Bhakti Yoga. So that's why Bhakti Yoga is at the center. Now this 6th chapter is in the Karma Yoga, part of the Karma Yoga section of the Bhagavad-gītā. So today we are reading last but one verse of this chapter. So kindly recite after me. Prayatnād yatamānastu, prayatnād yatamānastu, yogī saṁśuddha-kilbiṣaḥ, yogī saṁśuddha-kilbiṣaḥ, aneka-janma-saṁsiddhas, aneka-janma-saṁsiddhas, tato yāti parāṁ gatim, prayatnād yatamānastu, yogī saṁśuddha-kilbiṣaḥ, aneka-janma-saṁsiddhas, tato yāti parāṁ gatim, prayatnād yatamānastu, yogī saṁśuddha-kilbiṣaḥ, aneka-janma-saṁsiddhas, tato yāti parāṁ gatim. Prayatnād yatamānastu, yogī saṁśuddha-kilbiṣaḥ, aneka-janma-saṁsiddhas, tato yāti parāṁ gatim. Prayatnād yatamānastu, yogī saṁśuddha-kilbiṣaḥ, aneka-janma-saṁsiddhas, tato yāti parāṁ gatim. Matai? Prayatnād yatamānastu yogī saṁśuddha-kilbiṣaḥ aneka-janma-saṁsiddhas tato yāti parāṁ gatim. prayatnād yatamānastu yogī saṁśuddha-kilbiṣaḥ aneka-janma-saṁsiddhas tato yāti parāṁ gatim. Synonyms, word to word meaning of this shloka. Prayatnāt, by rigid practice. Yatamānaḥ, endeavoring. To and yogī, such as transcendentalist. saṁśuddha, washed off. Kilbiṣaḥ, all of whose sins. Aneka, after many janma, births. Saṁsiddhaḥ, having achieved perfection. Tataḥ, thereafter. Yāti, attains. Parām, the highest. Gatim, destination. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. And when the yogi engages himself with sincere endeavor in making further progress, being washed of all contaminations, then ultimately achieving perfection after many births of practice, he attains the supreme goal. Purport: a person born in a particular righteous, aristocratic or sacred family becomes conscious of his favorable condition for executing yoga practice. With determination, therefore, he begins his unfinished task, and thus he completely cleanses himself of all material contaminations. When he is finally free from all contaminations, he attains the supreme perfection, Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Kṛṣṇa consciousness is the perfect stage of being freed of all contaminations. This is confirmed in Bhagavad-gītā 7.28. Esam tu antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridavratah. After many births of executing pious activities, when one is completely freed from all contaminations and from all illusory dualities, one becomes engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Hare Kṛṣṇa. So this is very important for all the devotees here, how we all have come to Kṛṣṇa consciousness. It is not the endeavor of this one life. We have spent so many lives before coming to this Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Srila Prabhupada ji says the ultimate yoga, the goal of ultimate yoga is Kṛṣṇa consciousness. So if anybody is in Kṛṣṇa consciousness, he has come to Kṛṣṇa consciousness, that means he has spent so many lives. And in each life, he has performed dharma, he has performed religious activities, he has visited many dhamas, good places, he has read the Shastras, and then in this life, we all could come to Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Devahuti Mata, the wife of Kardamuni, when Kapil Bhagwan, his own son, the Lord incarnates as Kapil Bhagwan to the pleasure of Devahuti Mata. And one day, when Kardamuni left home, Kapil Bhagwan was in home, and Devahuti Mata was very morose. Alas, my husband who was the only shelter, now he has also left me. So what I should do? Devahuti Mata was completely rejected this material enjoyment. She felt very awkward, and this material life of enjoyment is of no taste. What I should do? Then she offers her obeisance to her own son. Please tell me, what should I do? Then for the pleasure of mother, Bhagavan Kapil Dev discusses with her the Sankhya Yoga philosophy, the Bhakti Yoga. And at the end of this Bhakti Yoga, Devhuti Mata concludes, Aho batasva pachoto gariyam yajjiva agrivartate namatubhyam te pustapaste juhu sasnurarya brahmanuchurnam grananti ete brahmanuchurnam grananti ete. It's a very beautiful verse. Aho batasva pachoti gariyam. Even a person is born in the family of a dog eaters, but if he is chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, that means in his previous life he has performed so many sacrifices. He or she has visited all the religious places. She or he has performed all the dana dharma, punya karma. And she or he has read all the transcendental literature. And as a result of that, in this life, he or she is able to chant the name of the Lord. This is my conclusion, she concludes. Even if a person today is born in the dog eater's family, but if he chanting this Hare Krishna mantra, that means he has completed all, that journey. And that is why on his tongue, the Hare Krishna mantra is vibrating. Similarly, Prabhupada writes in this, Yetu antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridhavrataha. For those people whose sins have been washed off, finished, only those people can come to Krishna consciousness. Param Pujya, His Holiness Sachinandan Maharaj, once he was giving the class here. So he was saying why a person does not come to Krishna consciousness. You may be all trying, or you must have tried for somebody of your own relative or your friend maybe to chant. But they no, they don't come. They don't come to temple and they are not willing to chant. What's the reason? It's so simple, By chanting there are so many benefits. Although they hear many times, but they could not chant. It's because Sachinand Maharaj was saying the sin which is accumulated in his previous life, it becomes like a wall between him and the Krishna. The sin stands as a wall. That's why he could not come to Krishna. Unless that sin is washed off, he cannot come to Krishna consciousness. So in this verse, which is this all starts with, this chapter. If you look at the summary of this chapter starts with Arjuna's inquisitiveness in the previous chapters. Arjuna asks, what are the prerequisites for meditation? And so many questions. So as a result of this, this whole chapter has got 47 shloka. We are reading today the last but one. And this whole chapter can be divided into 5 parts. The first part, Shlok Kramang 1 to 9, which we have already discussed, prerequisite for meditation. So there are in meditation, because this is a dhyana yoga. In dhyana yoga, there are do's and don'ts one has to follow. So Krishna is discussing what are the prerequisites, where he should sit and how he should chant and which place he has to choose, all those do's and don'ts. And how to meditate. Then from second part is Shloka 10 to 17, Krishna is discussing how to meditate. What are the basic practices? Then the third part is perfection in meditation. How to achieve perfection in meditation. Then there are some further doubts. doubts about yoga. So Arjuna, when Kṛṣṇa is explaining this yoga system, Ashtanga yoga system, dhyana, dharana, asana, pranayama. So Arjuna rejects this. My Lord, it is not practical in Kali Yuga. So my mind is like a enemy. How to control this mind? It's sometimes possible to control the fierce, strong wind, but it is difficult to control the mind. So this is not practical. Then he says, suppose a person is engaged in yoga in this life, but he could not achieve the perfection. He could not realize the God. And in this life, he has wasted so much time in yoga. So what would happen in his next life? Will it be like a small cloud, raven cloud, which is blown up by the force of the wind? So that portion of the wind, that cloud, small part of the cloud, which is blown away by the force of the wind, which neither becomes part of the big group of a cloud, nor it has owned its independence. It is just driven away. Will it happen like this? Then for this question of Arjuna, Kṛṣṇa is explaining some of the doubts. So we have read Shloka Kramank 45 today. In this 45 shloka, Kṛṣṇa is explaining. Actually, in the second chapter of Bhagavad-gītā, Kṛṣṇa says, Neha vikrama nashosti pratyavayona vidyate swalpam api asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even one practices bhakti for a small portion of his life, it will never be lost. It will continue in his next life. Suppose a person has spent about 5% of his time in his lifetime, and the next life starts with that 6%. This is the power of bhakti. This is the power of yoga. But if a person, a yogi, whatever time he has spent in the transcendental journey, it will never be lost. There are so many examples. Gajendra Moksha. How Gajendra could be liberated? How Gajendra was liberated? Gajendra was not in human body. He was in animal body. He could not speak. He could not chant mantra in this body. But because in his previous life, he has performed bhakti. He was a great Indradumna Maharaj, king. And he left all his kingdom and came to a forest for this yoga practice. And he performs, rejecting everything. All opulence he rejected just for the spiritual advancement. He came and he was sitting in a hut. But Agastya Muni, his guru, came to that forest. But he was in deep meditation. He could not see his guru and he could not offer his welcome to him. So Agastya Muni was furious. What is that you are teaching to the common public? You are a king. You have left everything. And even you are not bothered when your own guru comes in front of you. You are just sitting like a, elephant. Foolish elephant. So you become elephant. He curses. As a result of this curse, that king became an elephant. But then he started begging at his lotus feet, my Lord, how I could be liberated? Agastya Muni said, no, I have chanted this mantra to curse you, but it is for your benefit. So he will be liberated by that Supreme Lord. Now afterwards, this Gajendra, he was enjoying in the company of his own sea elephant and his children in that Meru Parvat. And there are lot of full opulence to be enjoyed by so-called this king, Gajendra. But one day, when he went for taking a bath in a river, in a big lake, the crocodile caught his feet. And the war between the crocodile and this Gajendra, it continued for many, many years. Gajendra was totally dejected. He became so weak, he could not fight. Although he was having a 10,000 elephant strength, but he could not defeat that. Because crocodile being in water, it was having an advantage. It is holding the leg of elephant and it is eating his flesh every day and sucking the blood. But Gajendra was not eating anything, so he became weak. And ultimately, after so many years, he could remember his previous life. And all that mantra that he had chanted to please the Lord, that one mantra he could remember. And immediately when he saw a lotus flower there in that lake, he immediately picked up with his trunk and then offered to Supreme Lord, Hey Dwarkadisha, Hey Kṛṣṇa. So immediately Lord came to rescue him. Now this is a question, why Kṛṣṇa took thousands of years to rescue Gajendra? Why he took so many years? As soon as the crocodile caught his leg, why Gajendra could not chant or call Kṛṣṇa? It's because etu antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam. So that sin or whatever curse was standing as a wall between him and Kṛṣṇa, and it has to pass through that life. So similarly, there are so many stories. So in this verse, so Kṛṣṇa is telling here, when a yogi engages himself with sincere endeavor in making further progress, being washed of all contamination, then ultimately achieving perfection after many, many births of practice, he attains the supreme goal. The final destination is Kṛṣṇa consciousness. So to come to Kṛṣṇa consciousness, we have spent so many lives. And that is why Kṛṣṇa says, one who comes to bhakti is a Mahatma. Mahatmanas tu mam partha daivim prakritim ashritaha. To come to take the shelter of Kṛṣṇa, it takes so many lives, so many years. And 1 out of 1,000 and lakhs come to this Kṛṣṇa consciousness. So this Ashtanga Yoga practice is the beginning of the bhakti. And yogis and munis spend so many lives before coming to Kṛṣṇa consciousness. And why? To answer the question of Arjuna asked the question, what happens to those yogis, transcendentalists, who could not achieve their perfection? What happened to them? Will they be driven away by, just like a cloud driven by the force? Or will they join a group of big mass of cloud? So Kṛṣṇa in the previous shlokas, he was explaining that if a transcendentalist falls from his path, he will be born again in the next life as the son of a maybe king or aristocratic family or good family, where he will have all the facilities to continue his journey of spirituality. If he has performed this yoga for long time, then he will go to Swarga, enjoy for many, many years, and then come back. He will be born again as the son in a good family, a Vaishnava family, a devotee family. But if he has not done this yoga for long time, for short time, then he will go to Swarga, enjoy the opulence, come back, and he will be born in some Simata Gehe, in rich family, aristocratic family, where he will have all the facility. He don't have to struggle like an ordinary man. To continue his journey of spirituality, there will be all facility provided by the Lord. So there, Kṛṣṇa is saying, a person born in particular righteous, aristocratic or sacred family becomes conscious of his favorable condition for executing yoga practice. With determination, therefore, he begins his unfinished task, and thus he completely cleanses himself of all material contamination. When he is finally free from all contamination, he attains the supreme perfection. Kṛṣṇa consciousness is the perfect stage of being freed of all contamination. So that's why for Gajendra it took so long, because to be freed of all contamination of the previous life. Now similarly, Dhruv Maharaj, if we just see the history of the Dhruv Maharaj, how Dhruv Maharaj was born into that king's family, and how he could achieve the topmost position, attaining the Supreme Lord. Because, see, being born as the son of a king, Manu Maharaj, in family, it's not an easy task. It is all because of Dhruv Maharaj's tapasya in his previous life. He could be born as son of Uttanapada in the family of Manu Maharaj. Great grandfather was Manu Maharaj. And although he was born as a king, he was dissatisfied because his stepmother did not allow him to sit on the lap of his father. And then he was very much disturbed. So Mother Sunita asked him to go to the forest and then you please the Supreme Lord. If the Lord is pleased, then everything is possible in this life. Then he goes to forest, performed tapasya for 6 months, and he could achieve the Lord. In fact, he went to tapasya not for achieving the Lord. He went to tapasya for asking something from the Lord. He was in his mind, just 6 years boy, my Lord, give me that opulence. Even my father, great-grandfather has not achieved that opulence. I want to achieve the bigger opulence, bigger facilities than my great-grandfather. But when he saw the Lord, Dhruv Maharaj became very ecstatic. Body started shivering. He fell like a rod in front of the Supreme Lord. And he wanted to offer the prayer, but he could not. When the Lord touched with his shanka, conch shell, his, kapal, his head, then he started offering very beautiful prayer. Actually, he came to ask the Lord, give me the opulence, which even my great-grandfather is not having. But when he saw the Lord, when he realized it's all futile, alas, how foolish I was. Looking at the Lord's personality, looking at the beauty of the Lord and the transcendental auspiciousness of the presence of the Lord, he started feeling that I am so foolish. The Lord is like a Vaidurya, it's a jewel, but I was hankering for a piece of a glass. So then he offers prayer, very beautiful prayer. Satyasisho hi bhagavan tava pada padmam ashishtatanu bhajatah purushartha murte appeva marya bhagavan paripati dinam vashreva vatsrakam anugraha katarosman. Very beautiful prayer. Satyasisho hi bhagavan tava pada padmam. My Lord, the real benefit, the real prayer, or if somebody wants to ask something, you should only ask your lotus feet, the devotion unto your lotus feet. My Lord, if it's so easy to be a devotee, it's so easy to become a devotee. Instead of becoming a great king, if one becomes a great king, then there will be so much of responsibility. He has to struggle so much. He has to defeat his enemies. He has to keep his position. so much of responsibility as a king. But becoming devotee is so easy. And if anybody becomes a devotee, my Lord, you are such a great father. Just like a cow loves its calf. The cow loves its calf. The cow gives feeds the calf, protects the calf from all the dangers, and she, licks the calf's body with her own tongue, cleans it. How much love the cow offers to her own calf. So just if anybody becomes your devotee, he's like a calf protected by a cow. And why one should ask for a opulence and a great king? So Satyashisha hi tava pada padmam. Satyashisho hi bhagavan tava pada padmam. Similarly, Prahlad Maharaj, such a great devotee. Prahlad Maharaj was son of a king. And he saw that his father was such a powerful king. Just by the eyebrows of the Hiranyakashipu, he pierced his eyebrows, all the devatas, the demigods, to get fear, and they used to, run away from him. And he performed tapasya to please Brahma. He obtained a long life. He got a long life. Long life, so much of opulence, such a power. He could literally control this world also. Such a powerful king. But when Narsingh Bhagavan came and he was saying, Prahlad, you ask something. Because when I have come in front of you, it should not go in vain. I should give you something. You ask me something. Then Prahlad Maharaj said, Tasmadamustanu britanahama ayuhu shriyam vibhavamaindriyamavirincha nechamite vilulita uru vikramena kalatmanopanayamam tava padamulam. Kalatmanopanayamam tava padapadmam. Tasmad amus tanubritan. For the embodied soul, for the jivatma, my Lord, I have seen from my own experience my father, who was having so much of opulence, so powerful, so long life. But you killed him in just a moment of a second, just like a small boy, tears a piece of bamboo. You just tore him in a second. Where that opulence gone? Where that power has gone? So that's why, my Lord, I don't want to ask to become a king, or to get an opulence, or to a long life. And if you are willing to give something, give the bhakti unto your lotus feet, the devotion unto your lotus feet. And then ultimately he says, my Lord, I am born in the family of Asura. So don't enchant me. If you want to give anything, you remove that desire from my heart of asking something. So such a great prayer. All these devotees have offered such a beautiful prayer in Srimad Bhagavatam. Because these devotees have been purified by this devotion. So in this chapter, the last part of this chapter actually explains us how the devotion yoginam api sarvesham madbhakt, of all the yogis, the devotee is much, much powerful, or the greatest is the devotee. Yoginam api sarvesham. दिख नहीं रहा प्रोजेक्ट? I'll just take you to the last. The last verse of this chapter is yoginam api sarvesham mad gate nantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamo matha. And of all yogis, the one with great faith who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself, and renders transcendental service unto me, he is the most intimately united with me. Yoga means to unite, and he is the most intimately united in yoga and is the highest of all. That is my opinion. So the Lord concludes, the greatest yogi is the devotee. Okay. So Srila Prabhupada quotes many prayers in this chapter or elsewhere. What should be the goal of meditation? This is a dhyana yoga. So what should be the object of meditation? So this is a very beautiful prayer offered by Devaki Mata. Tvayambujakshakhila satvadhamni samadhinaveshita chetasaike tvatpadapotena mahatkritena kurvanti govatsapadam bhavabdim. Tvayambujakshakhila satvadhamni samadhinaveshita chetasaike tvatpadapotena mahatkritena kurvanti govatsapadam bhavabdim. O lotus-eyed Lord, by concentrating one's meditation on your lotus feet, which are the reservoir of all existence, and by accepting those lotus feet as the boat by which to cross the ocean of nescience, one follows in the footsteps of Mahajanas, great saints, sages and devotees. By this simple process, one can cross the ocean of nescience as easily as one steps over the hoof print of a calf. The Bhavasagar, the ocean of material nescience, existence, so big, so difficult to cross. When one takes the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, once meditates on the lotus feet of the Lord, that big, insurmountable ocean becomes like so small, just a water contained in the hoof print of a calf, so that one can easily cross. It's such a beautiful prayer. Then Kardam Muni, in third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bahujanma vipakvena samyak yoga samadhina drashtum yatante yatataḥ shunya graheshu yatpadam. After many births, mature yogis, by complete trance in yoga, endeavor in secluded place to see the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of God. After many birth. So to come to that lotus feet, it takes so much of time. Then again, Kardamuni says, my dear Lord, your lotus feet are the reservoir that always deserves to receive worshipable homage from all great sages. Eager to understand the absolute truth, you are the full in opulence, renunciation, transcendental fame, knowledge, strength and beauty, and therefore I surrender myself unto your lotus feet. Kardamuni. Similarly, there are so many prayers. So, to conclude this chapter, this verse of this chapter, this from Shlok Cramang 46 to 47, the position of a bhakti yogi. So bhakta, always bhakti yogi or bhakta, serves Kṛṣṇa. Difference between service and worship. Reach the culmination of all yoga practice. Anybody who serves Kṛṣṇa, he is the highest yogi. And he has reached that culmination, the tip of the all yogic practice. He concentrates on Kṛṣṇa. So, in the lecture given by Srila Prabhupada in 1968, The whole process is that we are going to transfer our love from matter to God. So we should try to minimize. It will be automatically. Bhakti pareshanubhava viraktir anyatra shat. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.42. If you actually develop love of Godhead, then naturally you forget to love all these material nonsense. That is the sequence. But you should try also. If one comes to Kṛṣṇa, surrender to Kṛṣṇa, tries loving Kṛṣṇa, then automatically all detachment from this material world takes place. The reason why we don't come to Kṛṣṇa is because there are obstacles of material attachment. And that's why Kṛṣṇa says in Bhagavad-gītā, the last message to the Bhagavad-gītā reader is Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja. You abandon all dharma, that dharma, this attachment, that attachment. Dharma means svabhava, the natural inclination, that is called dharma. We say the dharma of water is to quench the thirst. Dharma of river is to cool the place. So dharma means svabhava, the nature. So leave all your svabhava, dharma, just surrender to me, and I will relieve you from all the sins that you have committed. This is the last message of Kṛṣṇa, to surrender. Similarly, teaching of Lord Kapila, there are many American and European boys and girls in this Kṛṣṇa conscious movement who have been born in countries where they can enjoy a good deal of material opulence. Prabhupada writes, why American, leaving all the dollars and opulence, why they come to Kṛṣṇa consciousness, where they can enjoy a good deal of material opulence, but they consider this material happiness and opulence like garbage in the street. They have realized all this material opulence is just like a garbage. Because they are devotees of Vasudeva, they are no longer attached to these material things. This is the result of Bhakti Yoga, which enables one to be detached from material enjoyment. That detachment is the sign that one is advancing in Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti pareshanubhava viraktir anyatra. That is the test of advancing in Bhakti. As soon as we start feeling detached from this material attachments, so that we should confirm that my bhakti is, increasing. But if our attachment is to the material things, that means I am falling back to, again, in the material pool. If we are advanced, we are no longer attached to material enjoyment. It is not that we think ourselves great devotees and then go ahead and enjoy material things. So, again, Prabhupada says, if you are not detasteful to all these nonsense habits, then you must know that you are not making any progress. You are not making any progress because this is the result. Anartha nivratti shat. If you are actually making advance in bhajana kriya, then this attachment will be finished. No more parām drishtva nivartante. Not by force, but appreciating something, better condition of life. One rejects all this nonsense. That is advancement. When the yogi, the bhakta, when he realizes that the lotus feet of Kṛṣṇa is the ultimate object of meditation, then immediately he will detach all material attachments. Just like a bird, when the wings are grown up, the bird just flies from the nest. It leaves the nest and flies away. So similarly, the bhakti, the yogi, when he realizes that Kṛṣṇa is the ultimate object, then he will leave everything and proceeds to Kṛṣṇa consciousness. In morning walk in Los Angeles, Prabhupada was discussing Bhakti pareshanubhava virakti. That is the sign of advancement of bhakti. If you don't, I was explaining this. If you don't be detached to these material things, then you should know that you are not advancing in spiritual life. If you have got still attachment for these nonsense material things, that means you are not advanced. Just like if you are eating and if you are not getting health, that means you are eating nonsense. Eating must result in good health. That is eating. Eating does not mean to fill up the belly with all rubbish things. Eating means that you become healthy, nice eating. So just like when we eat something, a healthy food, three things happen simultaneously. Stomach is full, our hunger starts vanishing away, and we get pushti, strength. Similarly, in bhakti, we start our attachment to this material world, vanishes away. Then we will become pushti in the spiritual advancement, and we feel joy. So these simultaneously three things happen. So Prabhupada ji has explained many times these verses. If you always engage your mind in transcendental topics, naturally all other nonsense topics will be stopped. Or you will have no interest in such topics. That is burned down. Bhakti pareshanubhava viraktir. That is the test. If you increase your devotion, then you will be not interested in ordinary things. Just like our devotees, they are no more interested in the worldly topics. They do not like to go to cinema. That is no more interest. We can see the film of Ratha Yatra, but we are no more interested to see ordinary film. So that is the test Prabhupada ji explains. So in a nutshell, when we read Bhagavad-gītā and Srimad Bhagavatam, they are non-different than Kṛṣṇa. And when we go towards near Bhagavad-gītā and Srimad Bhagavatam, two things happen. One is our attachment to material things start vanishing, reading Bhagavad-gītā. And second thing, we are getting slowly attached to Kṛṣṇa, attracted to Kṛṣṇa. And that is the greatest bhakti yoga. In bhakti, that's why Prabhupada ji always stresses that one should read Bhagavad-gītā and Bhagavatam. And slowly our devotion increases and we become topmost yogis. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. If you have any questions or any comments. श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की, सब भक्तों की